Okay. Pop through a comment if you're able to see and hear me all right. We're just having a couple of technical difficulties. I think Nate's running another one at the same time. Hello everyone. We're having a couple of technical difficulties. I think Nate just started his own live feed. We're trying to collaborate there a little bit, but just comment if you guys can see and hear me all right. Looks like there's a few people tuning in. Okay. Beautiful. Pop a comment in the comment box if you can hear and see me all good. For those just tuning in, I think Nate started his own live stream, so we were hoping it would just merge and collaborate, the two of us, but not to be. Okay, so everyone listening along, I'll get started briefly just with a bit of an introduction. I'm Nathan Havarton. I work with exercise for recovery, and one of our specialties is ergonomics and workplace and workstation assessments. So pretty much getting people who work either at an office, from home, or any other work sites to get people set up as good as we can to avoid those niggly aches, pains and injuries that we can often get whilst working from a computer. So today's session will cover 5 steps to get yourself set up optimally at home, and also we'll cover a few other topics along the way to do with a couple of exercises that I'll get you guys to try and add to your routine to decrease your chance of having little aches and pains, particularly of the neck and back. But also, if you guys could like, comment, tag some mates, some family who you think might be interested in this video, that'd be great. But also definitely ask any questions. Just comment away and I'll get to as many of them as I can throughout this little chat as well. So if you've got anything specific to your setup at home, or you're not too sure about something that I've gone through and you want me to roll over it again, just comment away, and like I said, I'll get to as many of them as I can throughout this little chat as well. So without any more waiting, we'll get started. So the first of the 5 steps that I'll take you through starts with the desk. So adjusting your desk, if you do have adjustability of your workstation, will be mainly for your neck and shoulders, so upper body. So not too sure how many of you can see that, but my desk is not adjustable. It's not a sit-to-stand desk. So I'm sure a lot of people are in the same situation. Good news is it's not the end of the world. We can work our way around that quite easily. But if you do have an adjustable workstation, we'll get started with that. So what we aim to do is we adjust your height of your desk to make sure that your neck and shoulders are able to be relaxed while you're working. The reason for that is not because raising your shoulders like that is a bad thing. It's more about giving enough time for your body to relax throughout your working day as well. If we're in this position where we're raising our shoulders and typing and using everything at the desk, then these muscles just don't get much of a chance to rest. Especially when we're working from home, we're probably not moving as much either. That can just lead to some fatigue-related aches and pains. Unfortunately, one of the ways that our body communicates with us is through sending us pain signals. So if we can get into a position where we're as relaxed as possible, we're less likely to have any of those pain type signals coming through as well. So if you do have an adjustable desk, the way to find out the correct height is quite simple. You start as I am now, you sit side onto your desk, relax your arms by your sides like this, and then just bend up your elbows to that sort of 90-degree angle at your elbow, in that sort of typing position. And if you're at the right height, you should just be able to turn slide in and start typing without having to raise or lower your shoulders. So if you aren't doing that and you find that you're a little bit lower and your hands are either hitting the desk or below the desk, then what we would do if you do have an adjustable workstation is we would lower the height so that you can get into that position where you can turn and type. Obviously, if your hands are too high, then raising the desk to get to that position where you can turn and just hover above your keyboard. For the rest of us who don't have adjustable workstations, again, we'll be okay. We will just boost our seat height or lower our seat height to get us into a position that we can get that relaxation through the shoulders. So step 2 is our chair. So with the chair, like we just mentioned, the first thing that we'll go through will be the height. So in terms of your chair height, we're looking for that same thing. If your desk doesn't adjust, then we need to get into that position where we can have relaxation through your shoulders while you're working at your workstation. So most chairs that are semi-ergonomic or have some sort of height adjustability will have that little height lever on the right side of your body. So you just reach under the chair, pull that lever as you stand up and your chair will raise. If you want to lower, just stay seated in your chair and pull that lever up and you'll drop. So a bit of an example, if I'm in this position, same rule applies. I relax through my shoulders, bend the elbows up, and I should be able to turn. My fingers are hitting at the moment, so what I would then do is raise myself a little bit until I can get into that position where I can slide in and type and use the mouse. So that would be step 1, getting your height right. The second step with most ergonomic chairs will have some sort of lumbar support or lower back support. So you can sort of see that there. There's a bit of a groove that goes outwards in the bottom of the chair. That is there to support the muscles of your lower back. So if you do have the luxury of having a little bit of a lumbar support, the spot that we want to get that is in our own lower back, which has the same sort of shape curve. So to adjust this, there's a couple of different ways that chairs do it. So my particular chair will click. You'll sort of hear this. So every time it clicks, it'll lock into a different spot until you find that spot that's comfortable for you. So generally, if you're not too sure where to put it, you want that little bump to sit just above your pant line. So if we get it into that position, lean back into it. If it immediately feels more comfortable, you've probably hit the right spot. If it's not comfortable or it feels worse than before, go back to where you were previously. Comfort's a bit of a good one to go off with this. But if you're not too sure, use that rule of just above your pant line to have that little bump. The purpose of this again is to sit in your lower back curve, which allows some of those lower back muscles to just relax while you're sitting in your seat. So that would be number 2 with the chair. The last thing that we would normally go through with an assessment of your chair is when we do adjust the height. So obviously boosting the height in most cases. Sometimes for people with shorter legs, we'll have them dangling in the air and we won't be supported through your lower limbs. If that's the case, obviously we want to have the shoulders relaxed so we boost you up. But if your feet start dangling, then we want to have them supported as well. So you can get a footrest or something else that's going to support your feet in that position. Easy things are things like a box, anything like some books, reams of paper, something to stack up so that you can just rest your feet on but aren't going to fall away or slip underneath your feet. They work exactly the same, so grab what you can around the house and that'll be something that will help ground out your feet but still get you in a high enough position to relax your shoulders as well. So that is step number 2. Your chair is now set up. Obviously, again, if you don't have the luxury of an adjustable chair or an ergonomic chair, it's not the end of the world. If you don't have an adjustable desk, you might be working from your kitchen table on your kitchen chair. The message around ergonomics is that ergonomics make our muscles more relaxed. They allow muscles to work less and they make our job through our working day a lot easier. So if we don't have the best ergonomics setup, it just means our muscles are going to be working a little bit harder, which is fine. It's all exercise and activity. Where we can get into some problems is if we're not getting enough breaks away from the workstation. So it's like going to the gym and doing bicep curls for 8 to 10 hours a day without a break. Your bicep's going to be pretty fatigued, pretty grumpy with you, so it's going to send you some of those pain signals. So if you don't have an adjustable desk, you don't have an adjustable chair, your muscles will probably be working a little bit harder to hold you in those positions you want to. So all that means is every 15, 20, 30 minutes, make sure you get up, do a couple movements or stretches, ideally go for a 30-second walk, and that'll give those muscles a chance to relax. That's all you'll need. So just more regular breaks if you don't have those sort of adjustability elements to those desk and chair. Step number 3 is our keyboard and our mouse. So these ones are pretty easy to get set up. The rule of thumb with this one is whenever you're in your normal seated position, if you're able to keep your elbows by your sides or by the side of your body while you're typing using the mouse, that's our ideal position. If we are starting to have to reach, so my elbows are now out in front of my midline, if we're in those positions for long periods of time, all that's happening there is your shoulder blades are actually spreading apart from each other, which again on its own is fine to do those forward movements. But if we're holding that position for long periods of time, hours on end, multiple days a week, sometimes those muscles will get fatigued. So making sure that you are able to maintain your elbows by your sides. We've got plenty of room we can work with my elbows still staying by my side, as you can see. Making sure you get a comfortable position, not sort of cramping yourself, just somewhere that's sort of comfortable for you to hold for a long period of time. Same thing with the mouse. In that position where I can keep my elbow by my side, not out here, although sometimes it will creep away. Just drag it back when you see that happening, and making sure it's not too far away, laterally away from your keyboard as well. So keep that nice and close, and making sure that you're not sort of overusing those extension-based movements for longer periods of time. So what we also do with this is we look at some different types of equipment. So people may have preferences. The general rule of thumb with keyboard and mice is your body will adapt. So if you do have an old school wide keyboard, an old school wide mouse, you'll still be able to manage quite fine, and you will be okay. The main thing will be to make sure that those other postures are in the right sort of positions and realms, which will help you to relax through those muscles. With your keyboard, the last thing that we would generally go for is some keyboards will have legs or stands on the back of them. So we would generally recommend them to be lowered throughout your working day while you're typing. And the reason for that is when we do have the legs raised, if we do have people who plant their wrist on the desk and type, you can sort of see there that my wrists are actually extended while I'm typing, which again isn't a bad thing, but if we're doing that all day, that can increase or aggravate some wrist pain with a lot of people who may have carpal tunnel syndrome, may just have some repetitive strain type injuries, because when we are extending for long periods, all these muscles of the forearm are just active. So again, if they're not getting the right breaks, then sometimes you'll get a bit of grumpiness from those muscles, letting you know about them by sending you some pain signals. So ideally, if you can pop the legs down, that allows your wrists to be a bit more relaxed. You can sort of see that wrist stays straight, those muscles will be a lot more comfortable and relaxed while you're typing with those stands down. So pretty simple one there, just pop the stands down, unless you've got any other particular reason why you like them up. Step number four is our monitor. So a couple of things that we look at with the monitor are to do with the height and also the distance away from your seated position. So we'll start with the height. So you might be able to see there as well that my monitor's sitting on a few books. I've got a monitor stand. So use whatever you've got around the house to get it in the right height. It doesn't really matter as long as it's going to support the weight. It's obviously safe. What is the right height? The right height for most people will be your eye line when you're in that normal seated position to be within the top third of your monitor. So the reason why we have our eye line towards the top of the monitor is it comes back to our actual field of vision. Our field of vision is a lot better looking down than looking up. So watching there now, watching this video, if you just relax, keep your head straight and just go to look towards the floor as far as you can, and then go to look towards the ceiling, you'll probably find that you can look a lot further down than looking up. And when you do look up and try and keep your head still, there's a lot more strain through the eyes. So what we tend to do if we're looking at something above us is not to try and keep our head still. We tend to extend through the neck. So again, if we're doing that all day and our monitor is positioned way too high, then we can get a lot of tension-related headaches or neck and shoulder type pain from all those muscles just being active all through your day while you're watching your monitor. So how that relates to your monitor is if we can keep our eye line between that top third, we can cover the whole screen with just our eyes. So we're not having to look up and down, which just minimises the amount of work that we have to do through those neck and shoulder muscles. So as I mentioned, some people will have an adjustable actual monitor where you can literally lift and lower the monitor screen itself. A lot of us won't. So if you do have that adjustability, just raise or lower it to the point where your eye line does sit between the top third of the screen. If you don't, get inventive. Like me, using some books. Again, reams of paper works super well. So buy some reams of paper or find some around the house to boost it up towards that point. If you don't get straight up to where it is between the top third, it's a lot better than it being right down the bottom. So get as close as you can, and again, you'll be okay as well. The second part of monitor setup that we look at is the distance. So this can be different for a lot of people. So particularly people with glasses, contacts, or others who don't wear any of those glasses or contacts, the setup will be different. We'll start with people without glasses or contacts. General rule of thumb, easy one to go off is wherever you're normally sitting, about an arm's length away from your seated position, ideally your monitor should be. So that's a good starting point. The second thing that I'll always encourage you guys and anyone else to look at is your habits when you're using your monitor. So even though it might be an arm's length away, your eyes might be fatiguing more than other people's would. So the way that we sort of monitor that is if you do catch yourself doing a lot of these movements, a lot of these behaviours where you're leaning in to read or just leaning in for no apparent reason, a lot of the times that is because your eyes are fatiguing. So what that then does is you lean in to take the strain off your eyes, but what we also do there is we stop using the backrest, which means those lower back muscles are generally working a little bit harder. So what we want to do from a setup point of view, if you notice that happens every couple of days or daily or towards the end of a week, just bring that monitor a little bit closer. If you notice that you then no longer do this as much, that's a good sign to say it was probably eye fatigue that was making you do that. The second part of it that I would check first is also, it could be a sign that you just might need a break from your workstation. If you're doing this and you've been sitting at your workstation without a break for a few hours, then it's definitely something that I would choose first. Go for a walk, go get a glass of water, do something to give yourself a break from the workstation, because eye fatigue can be due to distance, or it can just be due to not having a break and not looking away from your monitor for a period of time. So always start with go for a walk. If that makes it feel better when you get back, your monitor might be in the right position, and you may just need more regular breaks as well. Going back to people with glasses or contacts, completely different ball game, because you will have your optometrist setting a certain focal length where you'll be able to see things at your best. So for some people that may be really close, for some people that may be a bit further away, and for a lot of people it's around that arm's length as well. So but we use that feedback of your habits and your movements as to where we should position it. So I would generally say start with about an arm's length, and then have a look. If you are leaning in lots, bring it a little bit closer. If you sit down and want to slide backwards to view your monitor, then push it a little bit further back. Okay, so some people may be using dual monitors or 3 monitors. A lot of people have a lot of different setups with their monitors. So for people who are using 2 monitors, what we would generally look at is how you actually use them. If you have one that you use more than the other, or you use them both equally, we set them up differently. So if you do have 2 monitors, if you can, we generally recommend having a primary monitor, one that you use most of the time. So if you do have one that you use, say 60-70% of the time or more, we'd say position that one directly in front of you. So that way that you're looking straight ahead, relaxed for the majority of your day. And then maybe 10-20% of the day you're looking to the side. That secondary monitor would be positioned off to either side of your monitor, pressed up against that monitor so you're not having to look too far in either direction, and making sure that it's on a slight angle, just so you're sort of boxing yourself in, but still keeping that arm's length away for that secondary monitor too. If you use both of them equally or around about equally, so let's say 40 to 60% of your day you're using either or monitor, what we would then do is have both of those monitors meeting in your midline. So where they meet would be in the middle of your body. The reason for that is that way you'll be looking to your left, you'll be looking to your right pretty evenly through the day and not just overusing one side of the body. So that is what we would do with dual monitors in both of those situations. So the last thing that we will look at and go through will be your phone setup. So some people, and a lot of people, will just be using their mobile phone, which is great and fine. Some people might be using a sort of desk setup phone or a landline. So either of those situations, the main thing that we're looking at is how much you're using them. So our body is pretty robust, it's pretty adaptable. So if you're using the phone a few times a day, you don't have to have it positioned within arm's reach so that you're not moving through the day. If you have to reach across and grab your mobile, you'll be okay. It's more if we're in a call center environment or we're taking multiple phone calls throughout the day that we probably want to keep things as close as possible just so that we're not having to repetitively do that 100 times a day in some circumstances. So if you do have high volume calls, try and make sure your phone's positioned in a spot that you can just grab it quickly without having to sort of reach over and bend too much. If you're using it every now and again, then definitely something that you can place wherever, grab it wherever. Probably put it away from you, I would say, so you can get up and go for a walk and grab the phone. And definitely if you're using the phone for a long period of time, then we'd say use some headphones, use a headset, whatever you've got, just to avoid having to hold that up there for half an hour to an hour at a time. Also allows you to type, take some notes, do other things, and ideally go for a walk. So that's one thing that I always encourage people to do who use the phone a lot for work, is use that time to get out of your seat. Go for a bit of a walk, stand up, do some stretches while you're on the phone. Just use that as an opportunity to give the other muscles that work a bit through the day in front of the computer a bit of a rest. So look for as many opportunities as you can to use as many rest breaks as you can. So they are the 5 steps to set up your general workstation. So there are some people who may just work off a laptop, and there's probably a lot of people who just work off a laptop. So the problem that you may have already noticed with a laptop setup is that our keyboard and our monitor are attached. So what we're looking at there is a lot of people will set it up to a position, like we said before, where they're able to type and use the mouse nice and close to us. But what that means is we're then looking down at a sharp angle at the screen. So over a period of time, neck and shoulders will get pretty tired and a bit grumpy with us. Alternatively, some people might put it up towards eye level, but then we're typing up here. And again, those neck and shoulders won't get too much of a break in that posture either. So what we look at with regards to laptop setup is we really need to separate the monitor and the keyboard and mouse. How we can do that? External keyboard and mouse, you can use a wired version, Bluetooth version, doesn't matter, as long as we can then push that laptop back and have your keyboard and mouse close to us. So worst case, if your laptop is at desk level, we're still looking at a less sharp angle because it is pushed back rather than looking right down in front of you. Best case, have the keyboard and mouse separate in front of you, and then boost your laptop up on anything you can find, some books, anything else that is lying around the house to get that closer to eye level. It'd be pretty hard to get it to eye level, it's pretty difficult, but if you can find a few things, get inventive, use that. An alternative and something that at Exercise for Recovery I recommend a lot. A lot of people are using this product that we produce, which is called the Laptop Ergo Pack. So the Laptop Ergo Pack is an all-in-one pack for laptop users to get them ergonomically set up no matter where you are. So whether you're working from the office, at home, everything you need is in one little bundle. So I'll give you a bit of a walkthrough of how it all works. So we do have, like I mentioned, external keyboard and mouse, which is Bluetooth, so it's just connected by a USB. And then we've got this little laptop riser, which fits in the bag, and all you do is you pop that out like that. And that's a little stand for your laptop to go on to raise it off the desk. So, grab your laptop, pop that in there just like that, and then you've just got your little USB which will connect your keyboard and mouse, and then you're ready to go. So something like that is a quick and easy way to get you set up. It allows you to get that monitor right up towards eye line as well, and it is adjustable, so if anyone's sitting a little bit lower, you can lower that down, or you can boost it back up as well for those of you who might be a bit taller or sitting a bit higher in your desk. So that is how we would combat someone just using a laptop regularly through the day or from home whilst they're working during these lockdowns. So that is one way that you can accomplish that. The other thing that we have in this little pack is a couple of little flyers or educational pieces. One is on healthy office habits, something that we recommend for people to keep moving, to look after their eyes. There's just a few tips of things that we should try and do every 20 to 30 minutes, particularly when we're not moving as much through the working day, especially working from home. The second thing is our workstation self-setup card. So pretty much everything that we've spoken about today is in a little educational piece there, and it just goes through the 6 steps to get yourself set up as good as you can. So the good news is, for all of you guys watching at the moment, these are obviously hard copies that I give out to people who I do ergonomic assessments on. For everyone watching, I'm going to email you through these as a PDF, so you can print them off, hang them around home, or take them into the office with you when you do get back to work. So for everyone who would be interested in either of these or both of these, happy to send them through completely free of charge. Just comment in the comment section, yes please, or yes, and myself or Nath will get in contact with you after we switch off tonight. Alternatively, if you want to send us a direct message on either Exercise for Recovery's Facebook page or Momentum Performance Training, send myself or Nath a quick message, and we will get back to you and email through those PDFs for you to use. The other little special that we've got for you guys tonight for tuning in is the Laptop Ergo Pack. A bit of a sale price just for you guys exclusively. So normally these sell for $149.95. For everyone watching, anyone on your friends list, family, friends who you think might benefit from it, I'm happy for you guys to pass this on. So all we would need you to do is just, again, either comment yes please, and we'll get in contact with you, or again, send a direct message to myself or Nath, and we can get that sorted. So instead of the $149.95 we sell these for, we're offering it for $99.95 for you guys tuning in tonight. So anyone who needs that help, happy to help you guys out. Reach out, get in contact with us, and we'll get that sorted for you guys. So before we finish up tonight, we've gone through all the ergonomics setup. Hopefully that's been of some help for you guys at home. The last thing I wanted to leave you guys with was 2 exercises which can reduce a lot of tension through particularly neck and shoulder and lower back, which I know myself, clinically I've seen a lot more people since I've been working from home with aches and pains in the neck and lower back, which seem to be just from less movement and more sitting at their home-based workstation. So 2 exercises that I would be encouraging you guys to use sort of proactively, even if you don't have aches and pains. The first one is for the neck and shoulders. So it's not the most flattering exercise. It's called a chin tuck or a double chin. And what you do is you find something to look at directly in front of you. So just gaze ahead, try to keep your eyes fixed on whatever it is you're looking at. And all we're doing is trying to slide our head backwards. Then relaxing, doing that again. Show you a side view. So you're keeping your chin pretty much level with how you would normally look straight ahead. We don't want to sort of bring our chin like this or look up as we're sliding back. Just trying to slide back, sort of like a drawer would slide in and out. We're just drawing the head back and relaxing. So I'd recommend 10 repetitions of those chin tucks, 2 or 3 times a day or every couple of days. Or if you are feeling a little bit tight and a little bit sore through the neck and shoulder, using it more regularly can be beneficial as well. With the lower back, another one that works really well is an extension exercise of the lower back, because what we do through most people's day is sitting a lot. Then we go, maybe not at the moment, but normally we would sit at work and then drive a car home. So we do a lot of sitting. So what we need to try and do to balance that out is try and balance that with some extension-based movements. So the exercise that I'll get you to do for the lower back, you've just been standing, hands behind your hips or sort of in the lower back, just leaning back gently and then standing back up. Leaning back, progressively sort of working back into a bit more range if you feel comfortable. Just doing 10 repetitions of that, again, 2 or 3 times a day or every couple of days. Or again, if you do have any specific aches, pains or injuries in the lower back or neck, feel free to get in contact. Just send me through a private message. I'm happy to help you guys more specifically, because you might need something a little bit more specific in terms of that exercise prescription. For everyone else who's just using it proactively, a couple of times a day or every couple of days will be really beneficial to relax some of those muscles that you're using regularly. Other than that, keep moving. We definitely recommend every half an hour to move in some way, shape or form, or more if you can. Like I said, get on the phone, go for a walk, use your lunch break to have it away from the desk so that you're getting a bit of a walk in. The more movement that we can get through the body, the better we're going to feel in any scenario. And definitely a big message out of all this is to make sure that you're changing your posture regularly through the day. There's no one posture that is perfect, and no matter how we sit, if we're sitting bolt upright at our seat all day, there are muscles helping us keep us there. So if we're doing that all day, those muscles will get fatigued and tired. So the best posture is your next posture. So keep moving through your day and you'll be a lot happier with how you're feeling, that's for sure. So I hope you guys have got something out of tonight, and hopefully you've taken a few tips to set up your own home workstations. Like I said, if you have any direct questions for me, send through a private message or leave a comment on this video, and I'm happy to help you guys out. But again, thank you guys for tuning in tonight, and hopefully you've got something out of it. Stay safe, and we'll chat to you next time. Thanks guys.